Dude,
Oh,
you
might have to pay them a license fee now that you did that.
I'm singing.
What are you singing?
I'm singing a Rocky
song?
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta pay them.
If I sing it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
I don't know.
It's not as good. It's not worth it as much.
Hopefully not.
Should be a shout out to them, Rocky.
Yeah, YouTube has like automatic detection algorithms that
Now
like
you're making
detect
me
the
feel
sound,
bad.
and they can say, and I don't really mean that we have to pay them because I doubt. And if we do,
Give me a hard time here.
If we do,
am I going to get sued for this
if
too?
we do, maybe.
It's good coffee. I'll say that.
It is America.
It is America. And we're back. Actually, America is coming back. The roads are a little more full in the morning. Now we get in super early, so it's not usually roads too crowded, but seeing a lot more semis go up and down at the rest stops, and gas stations are a little more fuller. Gas prices are going up. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I have.
Yeah.
It's good.
So it was exciting there for a little bit. I saw 99 cents.
I know.
And went out of my way to go get it. So when I fill my gas, I only fill up what I need just for like the next day or so. I don't like to.
I usually cap out $20. I'll put $20.
$20, yeah. I like to try to see like how far it'll get me, because it's like taking it off your plate.
For a minute,
less
it was
gas
like,
I have, I make it.
Yeah, for a minute it was like $12 to fill you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
The car I got now, it's got great gas mileage. It's insane.
Oh yeah.
Cars,
Sweet.
Compared to the 2003 Buick Century. That was a beast. I do miss them. But, it's gone. Anyways, we're back here.
It's dead.
It's dead. It is dead, literally. So, got in a little car accident. So that'll happen. But were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say I gotta start thinking about getting a new one soon.
You do.
I have
That thing
202,000 miles.
I think it's getting a little older. When did you get that? 2000?
16 maybe.
16.
Something like that.
4 years ago.
16.
Yeah.
Whenever my other car died, I had 220,000
Had to take a loan from your parents to buy a car. That's always fun.
Entrepreneur life.
Thanks, Mom. No, but seriously, it was Mother's Day. Thank you, Mom. You're awesome. All the moms out there, appreciate you, grandmas, and everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Walking into this week, we wanted to start on a positive note. Pose a question of what are some of the positive things coming out of COVID, whether it be for industry as a whole, for us, posing the question to you first, just to see what you think. Yeah, I'm asking you.
What is something positive that, I got to change up my workouts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so that is true. Well, we have a gym here, but
not plateauing.
That's how I was talking to a customer last night, and they're over in Texas, and he was like, I didn't mean to call you so late. Like, so sorry, I wasn't actually expecting you to call me back. And I was like, no, I'm still here. I was just getting a workout in, and he's like, you guys have a gym? And I was like, yeah. It's kind of like hodgepodge, but it works. I got some weights.
Yeah. It's homemade.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really good to have that gym here. We started with that. Well, we've had the gym here for a while, but we started to get into it. It's neat to see more employees gravitate towards fitness, representing what we do as the contract manufacturers in the industry. Health is an important thing within orthopedics, and we try to maintain that here as well. So I feel like more people have been going over there. There's nowhere to go, You can't go to a gym.
Nope.
And it's good to see.
They open the 26th in Ohio.
26th. Okay. Well, I'll still be working out here.
That actually might be one of the biggest benefits from COVID.
Yeah.
Is that people are like itching to go be around people, and the place that's going to be in earliest is the gym. Yeah. So
100%. People need to at least a little energy.
Hopefully, we don't see another spike because of it, but I think that people getting healthy is always a good thing. So hopefully everyone sticks with it. And that was actually the highest comorbidity with COVID in the U.S. was obesity, I believe, after like old age.
I did not realize that.
Which the oldest age, not to like
No, keep going.
too far, but the average age of a COVID death is higher than the average age of people that die in the U.S. from other things, like old age and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely is like targeting, seems to be, I'm not a doctor, by the way, seems to be
debatable.
Seems to be affecting old people at much higher rate than younger people.
Yeah.
But not to say it's not dangerous. It's dangerous, clearly.
Yeah.
It kills people. So,
but to stay positive. It's really hard to get positive after that.
I'm sorry.
To know that there are a lot of people impacted.
Mm-hmm.
And it is sad. You know, people in our hometown, you know, getting identified for it, just being scared that they have it. They know they have it. I think a lot of people believe they might have gotten it. I think, you know, here and around here, friends and family who just got disastrously sick. I don't know, disastrously sick with, you know, it started December, January timeframe. Just a lot of people were getting really sick right around Christmas. And so it's kind of, you know, I think a lot of us probably did get some sort of it or close to people impacted by it.
Yeah, I tried to go to my family physician and get an antibody test to see if I had the antibodies, but they said the test wasn't widely available yet. So
I'm not letting it out yet. So one of the things I think that with all of that, I think the hospitals have been getting a little bit more streamlined. You're starting to see people be able to call in for little things that they would normally have to go out of their way for the day, set a doctor's appointment, leave work or leave home to go in. I've heard of a lot of people doing video chats with nurses, and hopefully maybe like that little bit of transition. It's like, I don't want to call it like the flow. 80% of the stuff that go in, it's kind of like 80-20 rule.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not putting actual numbers to anything. This is more just like theorizing. But you've got a lot of people who flood emergency rooms that may not be in an emergency situation, but you know, when you're looking at it reacting, you want to go. You want to be on the safe side of it. Well, now having it becoming a normal thing to get on your phone and do a video chat with a nurse in an emergency room should help healthcare costs come down overall, just from the whole ecosystem and being able to kind of minimize. I don't want to call it distraction because it's not. When someone feels like they're in an emergency, that's a valid feeling to feel that, but just kind of taking the pressure off the whole healthcare system, allowing them to be able to focus on true emergent situations should just be a good impact for society in general. I mean, there is the positive impact of not having the cost associated with all that, both on the consumer side and for the hospital, the time and everything that goes involved with that. But that's been a kind of a cool thing that I've noticed. You know, you're seeing a lot of hand sanitizer stations everywhere. You're seeing the plexiglass up. There's things that it's like our society is becoming a little cleaner as we come along. We do have some guests here today, and I bet this is one of them walking through here. Somebody. Patriot, how you doing? I got my son here today. Patriot, come in and say hi.
Hi.
We're saying hi to all of our orthopedic industry friends. So he came up here today to do a little class work, and I don't know. What's going on, man? You need help with something?
Oh, you got me
on the podcast.
How dare you?
He told me last night he was going to have to be.
He did get me.
He's like, he did it to me. He came up and said, I wanted to show you what I have to be looking out for because Chris is going to try to get me. I have to be ready. Yeah.
He knows what I'm up to nowadays.
He knows what he's up to. So what do you need, big man?
Nice.
Nothing, you're done? All right, good. Well, let us finish up the podcast. We'll be down with you, okay?
Nice.
Love you.
That's quite the trick. I'll get you back.
Be careful. Chris doesn't forget. He's like an alligator. Is alligators? Elephant.
Yeah.
Elephant. Yeah.
Close.
We're watching 72 Dangerous Animals, so both of them were on there competing with one another.
What was number 46?
I don't know, but I'm really good when I watch that show, and they have 6 animals that come up, and it'll say like all the death stats within the society, how dangerous that animal is to being deadly. and I always pick like who's going to be number one because they'll rank them.
They tell you the most.
Yeah, so the first one they'll do,
episode.
obviously that'll be ranked 1, and then they'll come up with the second one, and then they'll maybe swap it up. Like this one's more dangerous, or the sixth animal may move to the number 1 spot, and I always pick it right. Like, how do you do that? Well, the way I do it is I look at the death stat.
You're like, well, son, deductive
well,
reasoning
son.
says.
If you look in the Ranger Handbook, what you're gonna find, it's like the deaths to society. You know, it's like a snake bite. You know, sometimes they have jellyfish on. They're super dangerous, but they're like way out in the sea. It's like that's not too dangerous. But a water bull, water buffalo, like that's really pissed off. A little more dangerous. Just
how close is it to your car?
What?
Water buffalo.
Well, I don't have a water buffalo. No, it's a pet.
I was just saying that its danger level increases
as
it gets closer to your car.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, some of these videos that are on there, you got these people like running away from rhinos in India. It's like, God, walking into work like, oh man, there's a rhino in the parking lot. Like, hey boss, I can't come in. There's a rhino outside.
We deal with like Canadian geese.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
this is wrong.
So, Canadian geese are not nice.
No, they're not.
Anyways, wanted to give a shout out. HD Life Science at Lifesciences. They had their FDA clearance. At least it was put out this week. I don't know the actual date. The Hive A-Lift. So congratulations, guys. I know you've done, I don't know, from what I know, 3, 4, 5 years of, I mean, obviously probably longer than that. Just a ton of hard work. You guys have been working through a number of launches. Your business is looking really well. So really commend you guys on that. So keep up the great work. I'd like to see some companies coming up and coming like that. It's exciting to see for our industry as well. So, yeah, and for us as well. We like to see it. Obviously, you know, we're focused on contract manufacturing of 3D printed titanium orthopedic implants. But, you know, it's good to see the evolution of technology being used in such a worthy way when you're thinking about orthopedics and getting people back to having a good life and being healthy and staying fit. So all good stuff. But Additive Manufacturing Magazine did a video with you. Tell us a little bit about that. I know it's out there. You shared it, but I thought it'd be cool to get your take kind of after it's been published.
Yeah, I forget what the YouTube title is exactly. It's about 3D printing implant maker.
We'll throw a link somewhere with all this stuff.
In 3D printing implant maker increases production or something like that. Basically, they just call to check in and see how we're doing. Folks over at Additive Manufacturing Media, they make the Cool Parts Show, which they featured one of our demo parts, which was a T-lift that was topologically
and they won an award.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. That show is super well produced.
It is. They did a good job with that.
So they did a little Zoom interview with me and asked what are your growth, what's going on in the industry in general, in contract manufacturing of additive orthopedics. And so I gave them a rundown of who we're hiring, where we're hiring. They had asked about some adding equipment, because that's everybody's big question too, was like, we saw the big surge of equipment sales for additive equipment, and then it kind of sloped off thereafter because people are still getting their heads wrapped around like what capacity looks like in the grand scheme of things, not just like the single work center machine itself.
Everything. And
so I kind of explained capacities to them and bottlenecks and things like that on the shop floor, since, you know, a regular implant goes through 30 operations. So it's definitely not just like one operation operating in isolation. So I explained all of that. I went over what departments we're hiring in. I went over the additional equipment investments that we have going on in quality. And they were super interested to hear that an additive company, I think Pete at one point said to me, "Look at this, Mr. Additive needs to hire CNC machinists. Look at you." And I was just like, yeah, there's no denying it. So
there's not.
But additive does hold one promise to be true, and that's that they can basically run lights out all the time.
Right.
And that is reflected in our labor rates for the additive work centers compared to like CNC work centers where you got to have somebody kind of babysit. I mean, you don't always you can always do like robotic pallet loading and stuff like that, but that takes kind of a high production setup. So yeah, that was fun. Great video. Go check it out.
Well put together video. I mean, I enjoyed it.
They're getting good.
It was this guy, but
I think they're doing a thing
very good.
We talked about it last week where they separate the table and then they like tried to like high five through like that at each other.
Yeah. So no, I really like those guys. They've always done a good job with the magazine, the conferences that they put on. They bring a well-rounded group of additive manufacturing people together, and it seems to kind of be like a top-tier group of people that they bring together to their conferences. It's not crowded, so you can have conversations. You can really dive into the vendors and what they're offering. It's hopefully we get to conferences. I do miss seeing everybody. It's not been bad. I mean, I was looking forward to going to AAOS, but it wasn't too disappointing. I mean, we never really made a big living out of going to conferences. We started going to conferences about 2 years ago. A lot of our sales was done, working through LinkedIn, making connections, calling people, delivering good product and building a reputation. I mean, that in itself took a long work, and you're not going to be able to really have that investment early on to go to conferences. So once we started, it was good to make the connections in person, but it's almost been nice to have a break, like no pressure to go to a conference, because it's you feel that pressure, like everyone's going to be there. We got to be there, and perhaps this next go around will be a little bit more valuable. People just not showing up, but even us being a little bit more organized as we go in, knowing this is more of a bigger investment if we decide to go. Do we need to go?
Well, I think that's another good thing, bringing it back to your original question, another good thing that came from COVID was it kind of forced us all to use the internet and video chats and all of that.
I mean, the calls with customers and being able
doing videos and screen shares, it's
amazing.
Super commonplace, and we get so much more accomplished.
It's fast. I mean, you jump on call for prototype, you start seeing files, not send them over, give them your feedback, let's take 2, 3. It's just boom. Get the NDA, let's get a video call. It's an expectation. It's a really good point.
That's cool.
That's a good point.
And we participated in that digital conference. I think we talked about on another podcast too, where Matt and I did digital. It was just this, and there were in the browser there was a layout of a floor plan, and you could go to any table. You could see who's sitting at each table, and you could go have round table chats with those people. You can get up and leave if you want. You can still see all the sponsored areas. You can go sit in those areas.
Kind of nice. You can sit here. Someone who's legitimately interested will walk up. Or
just send you a DM. They can find you. Yeah. There's a list of all users over on the side, and they can find you and send you a DM. I got like 10 DMs during the presentation, and they were just like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like it was just cool stuff to see while you're just giving your presentation.
And how does that change with the physical copy? Because they're going to still go on.
Well, and we still had a Q&A at the end, and that's like the most exciting part about giving a talk anyway, is finding out what the questions the questions that people in the industry have.
Right.
So, because if we're light years ahead of them, then
which we are,
that makes communication a little tougher. But if we figure out how to bridge a gap just from the questions they're asking, or take a few steps back and say, "Oh, you're not at step 10 yet. You're still at step 1.
Yeah.
Here's how we get you to step 5, and here's how we get you the rest of the way."
It's been from a lot of those people that were at the conference, and it was additive focus. It's been nice to reconnect with a lot of those people that are out there. That you just kind of run into people again, even virtually, and got a couple emails from some folks that said hi to some other people. It's good to reconnect and almost kind of because we are focused on additive orthopedics. And we were so focused on orthopedics. We're more in that industry today than we are in the additive manufacturing industry. So it was a great way to reconnect. and get a high level visual of the technologies, processes, new things that are coming out, post-processing technology. Just like when we used to go to conferences 2-3 years ago, as we were expanding this operation here, we had this evolution now, and who's coming out with what brands are out there, what companies aren't doing so well. You just kind of get the ground truth, as I like to call it, and kind of go from
That's
there.
a good phrase.
Yeah, ground truth. Get on the ground, get the truth. You can get a report all day, but like when we started, we put a map out, a date, and we literally went point to point to point. That's truth, but that's not ground truth. And at that time, what we were doing, we had 2 plastic printers, and this is almost 8 years ago now. We were selling anything and everything we could, but we were also trying to identify where our passions aligned and just kind of the early seedling of an entrepreneurial adventure. But we put a map out, we had a list, we had a phone book, and we just started tying them together using Google Maps, and we built routes and went there. The ground truth is when you get there and there's no business there. When you get there and they don't do anything. That's reportable intel. And that's why we are doing this podcast too, because you can see all the newsletters, you can see everything, but ground truth is us. It's networking, it's talking with others, it's going to virtual conferences and participating and getting the word on the street. And I think you can make a lot better decisions in your day-to-day professional career and business if you have more ground truth, which typically comes from unconventional sources like talking to people. So it's hard to do, especially in this world, but it's opening that back up. We went from not answering phone calls and just leaving voicemails and trading emails to doing video calls. So it's this really rapid change where it's not just a phone call and a voice. Like we're seeing people that we've never met in person before, and you're like feeling a deeper connection with them. There's more interaction. I think you can see the facial expressions. It's really neat. I mean, even here, we did that virtual audit. We walked the floor with the phone, and we took the auditor around from a customer and walked up to operations, and they were able to see, and it's really neat. Saved a lot of money. I think we've talked about that before. But but anyways, beautiful day here. What do you got planned besides work this weekend? Yeah.
It's the last weekend of turkey season.
Nice.
So probably find myself out in the woods.
Nice. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be a little rainy.
Yeah. If anything, we'll probably find a bunch more morel mushrooms.
That would be even cooler.
Because it's been a little
How
wet.
much do they go for? A pound. There's got to be a market.
It's expensive per pound, but to get a pound of them, you gotta have quite a few.
Yeah. How many do you think you have in your pound?
Maybe a half pound.
Maybe a half pound.
Those big giant.
What is it a pound? Like
$50 or something, yeah, or more.
Dang.
But yeah, they're expensive, man. I think I was listening to something recently that said that they go for so much because nobody's been able to find a way to farm them to like get them in a grocery. So basically, it's just people that are foraging them that are selling them,
putting the work in to go get it. Interesting.
Nobody's really figured out how to farm them yet.
Right.
And then I forget what I was watching. It was I think I just looked up a video when I heard that of how they make mushrooms like for the grocery stores, and there are giant mushroom farms.
Sure. Yeah.
And they're all indoors and like in the perfect environment that like all these different mushrooms grow in, and they're like the U.S.'s biggest mushroom farm is over in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And they some of them grow on like little bricks of soil. Some of them grow like just all on a plane of soil, and they have them like up off the ground, and like you can see the
root systems.
Mycelium. That's what their roots are, and like you can see them penetrate like 6 inches down below the ground. And, like it was cool, man. It's neat.
I like the kids who like that one.
Yeah.
We like the little YouTube videos like that.
That's what I do whenever I want to learn something. It's the first place I go.
Well, I mean, look at us here. We're gonna put this on YouTube. We want people to learn.
That's how I started a business. I just Googled how you start a business.
Googled it. LegalZoom. Done. 8 years later, a couple lawyers.
Oh goodness.
All the stuff that comes with growing a business. So we've had a lot of fun. We're
Yeah.
by no means done or don't have our challenges day to day. But I think as you look at everything, it's been a wild ride, man.
What are you doing this weekend?
Let's see. So kids are going to go hiking later today. That's why they're up here with me. We got John Bryan State Park, which is open, so we're going to hit that trail.
Is he going to come up here like Patriot did?
Probably not. Izzy's a little more shy. And she's also got some work that she's doing right now. So, but they're about to clean the bathrooms. They actually, I went in this morning and they, it's 4 a.m. and they were, up like that, up like that.
Just excited to go hiking?
Excited. They were excited to come here. Patriot wrote a story about Tangible.
I want to hear it.
Bug him about
We should have had him do it for the pod.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, he's not ready for that.
Nah. He was, I told him that I texted that he wrote a story about Tangible. And he said, oh, man, I'm going to have to get ready. He got a little nervous, because he was like, I'm going to have to recite this. But I thought that was really neat to hear him say that. But I think we'll pretty much keep it chill. It's going to be raining. They're almost done with school. Izzy's got some new friends in the neighborhood. They've been running around a lot. We got a little fort that we built down in the woods with Patriot and I. And we got one of his cousins is coming over on Sunday, so we're going to do that. And, probably hang out on Saturday. I like Saturdays. Well, it's 7 to 9, so I'll probably wake up around 9 and do my thing. Just chill, relax. Try to get more than 6 hours of sleep.
Dude, it is so relaxing being in. There might be nothing better than sitting down before the sun comes up in the woods and just letting nature kind of come back to life after it silences out when you're walking around. Yes. There might be nothing better when the sun's coming out.
It's like just a cup of coffee. I just haven't had all that.
Yeah.
Getting out in the woods and just waking up early, just kind of taking a look around. What's been moving? What little lumps of life have moved first, and watch that twinkle nightlight come in.
I just thought of another clearance. Sorry,
no, again, I'm diving. I'm diving.
I'm like ADD, and you're like, oh yeah, this one time I was in the woods. Is another clearance that happened. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. It's integrated Spira C.
Yes.
So Camber Spine cleared their integrated.
Boom.
Has the blocking system that seems to be coming out here in the industry. It's not going to sell like hotcakes.
I believe so. Yeah, there's a lot of good products that are coming out from a lot of smaller companies. I don't know if we really saw it before. It just seems like a lot more innovation happening.
I think that's
across the board. It's starting to trickle up.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the big guys are like, whoa, these guys are moving.
Well, I think they let them do that at first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in medical, which is has M&A everywhere.
Right.
So mergers and acquisitions. So the smaller companies, generally what you see is some people peel off from a big company because it's too big and slow, or they're not mentally stimulated, or a lot of times really, really smart people just need a lot to be going on all the time. So they'll either start a company or join a startup that is really agile. And they can really focus on new product development for their specific style and what they're interested in developing. So it's going to be super interesting when we start talking about people that have unique geometries like HD and Camber, where Camber especially has the spiral design, the big open architecture. They're really one of the first ones that came out with something that was just open like that, rather than standard shaped cage with some lattice in it. Not to degrade that, because it's definitely step one in the adoption of additive, where you're still pretty close to the predicate, so you know that your testing is going to go well. So long as everything's cleanable, which we haven't seen be an issue at all. then you know everything's going to go smoothly. And then like you can start to take that, you can convince management to start to take that step out into like oh, this looks pretty different design wise,
Right.
but still functions relatively the same to our predicates. So
willing to get a little more risky. Open up that mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Try something new.
And I think over the next couple years, it's going to get crazy with the designs because we can't make anything. So we can make a lot of things.
We need to get Matt doing a in-top webinar sort of thing. Kind of show some of those.
Oh yeah, I'm down with that.
We've been talking about it a little bit. I know Matt's super excited about showcasing some of the capabilities and his capabilities. I mean, the guy's amazing.
We might be doing one on Monday. Sorry,
Oh no, you're good. Doing one on Monday.
Don't compliment Matt.
Don't compliment Matt yet. I take that back, Matt.
Yeah,
take it back.
Keep
working.
Well,
keep working on it.
Go work. Go to work.
Go work while we do this podcast.
Stop listening.
We are busy. So important. All right. Speaking, it's probably a good time to head on down. This has been a good podcast, though. Starting to get in the groove a little bit. If you made it to the end with us, really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're learning some stuff. If you got a question, got a comment, please leave it on whatever medium you're watching this on or listening to, so we can continue to hone this in and evolve it.
Yeah, so we're on what? I know we're on Apple Podcasts.
7. This will be 8. I think last week was 7.
Okay, so we know we're on Apple Podcasts. Are we on? Is there an Android?
Oh, you know what? I'll need to get the list together.
Okay.
I'm not as organized there.
Okay.
Apple for sure.
Yep. Okay. I know
There's like
we're on
6
that.
other ones because we're using Buzzsprout, and Buzzsprout puts it out to 6 of them. Apple Podcast being one of them, and then that puts it out to a couple others. Cool. So we should have some good spread, but that's probably an area we're weak on. Yep.
And then we put the videos on YouTube, so you can go there. Tangible Solutions Inc. Is that the profile page? Okay. Tangible Solutions Inc. is the profile page. You'll see our little logo there.
Yeah.
And
check out the other videos.
Yeah, I got the other videos. I also started making playlists of all our videos, and we should start putting some stuff like that together here soon. We're just trying to start getting organized on them, so
this is the time.
Suggestions are welcome too. If you're like, hey, I've been running a YouTube channel for 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Please tell us.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
A rising tide lifts all ships.
It's true.
It's true. So, all right, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week.